Well, it's that time of the week again where we have to cover the Xbox news that has occurred over the past week, and let me tell you, there's a lot of news for us to cover in today's video. From some huge games being announced alongside a shadow drop, to some pretty huge figures from Xbox, and even some huge new updates, it's a pretty stacked week for all of us in Team Green. With that, my name is Fletcher, and this is Xbox Nation. If you're new here or just returning, I do cover everything from Xbox news, reviews, and updates every single day, and I would love you to join one of the largest Xbox communities here on YouTube. With that though, let's dive right into the huge Xbox updates that occurred over this past week. Well, I might as well start with my favourite news story of the entire week, and that has to be the reveal of Battlefield 6, and EA finally lifted the lid of what we can expect from the next in the franchise. As you'd probably expect, the teams over at Battlefield Studios are really harkening back here to the good old days of Battlefield 3 and even 4, and to me it sounds like a real dream come true. I do have to add though that the debut trailer does say that this is in-game footage and not actual gameplay, but nonetheless the game's serious military tone has already been set out there. I do fully expect that most of this footage that we actually saw was also relating to the campaign, and if it's anything like we've seen so far, well, we're certainly in for a bloody treat. As for any other details though, the trailer was actually quite short on anything concrete. All we know so far is that the multiplayer reveal will be taking place on the 31st of July, and EA are actually being pretty tight-lipped about it so far. There has been some leaks and a bit of info out there that kind of popped up online due to a promotion, and it has set a date of when we might expect Battlefield 6, and that will be the 12th of October. I do really hope we do see the game come out in October, and I do feel it might be quite wise. That's simply because the first half of next year is looking incredibly busy, and obviously you don't want to be overshadowed by GTA 6. Battlefield is really making its grand return pretty imminently, and I can't wait to see where the future of the Battlefield franchise really does go. What do you think about the Battlefield trailer though? I'll be keen to hear your thoughts on it in the comment section below. Frostpunk 2 made a very good impression when it launched over on PC Game Pass late last September, and now the team at 11-Bit Studios has announced that the console version is due to arrive pretty much exactly a year later, including on Xbox Game Pass. I can now indeed confirm that the team's atmospheric city builder will be arriving on both of the Xbox Series X and S consoles on the 18th of September. This includes a digital release and a physical release, and also an excellent looking collector's editions for all of you who like those extra goodies. As I mentioned here and in previous videos, Frostpunk 2 has got very impressive PC reviews back around its launch time, amounting to a Metacritic average of around 85. I am kind of hoping that the Xbox release also kind of hits that 85 mark. They've had over a year now to implement the control schemes and all the extra elements that you come to expect on a console, and I'm hoping it really does hit the same highs. I will say as well, if you're interested in even more Frostpunk, a brand new game in that series was also recently announced. Frostpunk 1886 will bring a reimagined version of the original game to market in 2027, including an Xbox release powered by Unreal Engine 5, but I'll give you more details on this when we hear more very soon. So, in some pretty odd news for this week, and also quite a huge update, is that the Splitgate 2 developer 1047 Games has announced that they will be bringing a massive update for Splitgate 2, and the game will now be retracting back into its beta state. In a statement on Twitter, it was explained that the team bit off a bit more than they could actually chew due to their excitement surrounding the release and rushing some features, making boneheaded mistakes, and not taking enough time to polish the overall experience. As for Splitgate 2, the game will continue to be playable amidst this overhaul though, and Chapter 3 will still be shipped as planned, introducing some fixes, high priority changes to the game, and so much more. I think maybe if the developers actually stop making backhanded comments at other development studios, making some outrageously priced DLC and so much more, maybe they might have stood a chance when they released Splitgate 2. Even so, I kind of do wish them luck, and I do hope we see some more from Splitgate 2 in the very near future. In addition to that though, the team over at 1047 also announced some horrid news as well, and that's that they mentioned that Splitgate 1 will be taken offline and will be no longer playable in a month's time. This was apparently due to it being too expensive to keep running, and they need to prioritize their team on the Splitgate 2 changes. Again, this is another case of an online game dying with no mention of an offline update, so it's going to be lost to time here, and that's why we need the Stop Killing Games initiative. I have to say, it's not great news across the board for either the studio or for us players, but here's hoping they might actually be able to right the ship in the near future. I think you're all well aware at this point that Microsoft really is trying to take all of the games that were previously on Xbox and then ship them to other modern platforms, and to be honest, I don't really blame them as it is a big money spinner, but then again, it leaves a lot of questions for all of us Xbox gamers. This week though, we did see some more interesting news about more games potentially heading across to rival platforms, and there were some insiders saying that could be as soon as next week. In a post that breaks down the current state of the US games market with Sarkana's Matt Piscatella, Chris String of the Games Business made a somewhat throwaway comment about the future Xbox port announcements. Now, I will say that this was just a quick comment from String and is not a report or anything like that, so do bear that in mind in this video. It's more likely logical guesswork based on their connections within the industry and Microsoft's recent history. For me personally, I never really take the word of Chris String as actual fact. He's been known for spreading a lot of misinformation online lately and then recorrecting themselves usually about 48 hours after the damage has been done, so I always say take anything that he does say with a very big pinch of salt. Having said that though, I think it's safe to say that we know that more stuff will move over to other platforms, so the question kind of is, what's next for Xbox as a platform? It feels like it's high time for Starfield to get an announcement for other consoles, especially with the teasers coming out from Bethesda pretty lately. Other than that, we really don't know what could be going across to other different platforms, and we'll just have to wait to see what Xbox do in the near future. I did mention the news a couple of weeks back now of some games that will be delisted in July and also August, with EA's Anthem being the most notable out of all of the games. Well, as a surprise, there is another game that's also being delisted as of August, and it's a pretty noticeable one, especially within the racing scene. It has been announced this week that Slightly Mad Studios racer, known as Project Cars 3, will be removed from storefronts in late August, including on Xbox consoles. At that time, the game and all of its DLC will be unavailable on all digital storefronts before the game goes fully offline in early 2026. As mentioned, Anthem will be delisted as of the 15th of August, and then Project Cars 3 will be fully delisted on the 24th of August. Of course, you can play both of these titles online until January for Anthem and February for Project Cars 3, so definitely make sure to play them whilst you can, and also mop up the gamer score if you need to finish off that 100%. Hot off the wheels of the Battlefield 6 reveal trailer, a reliable leaker over at Deal Labs has revealed that 2 unannounced games could be coming to Xbox very soon. The first and arguably most interesting of these titles is Plants vs Zombies Replanted, and this is an original remaster of the original Plants vs Zombies game and has been rumoured quite some time before, but Deal Labs is here with some fresh information on this brand new release. The report does say that Plants vs Zombies Replanted will launch for both of the Xbox Series consoles and other platforms on the 23rd of October this year. They also reported that the game will be officially revealed within a month's time, and it will be priced at €20 or your regional equivalent on every single platform. As for the second Xbox title that should be coming this fall, we had some more details about another SpongeBob game coming from the folks over at THQ Nordic. SpongeBob SquarePants Titans of the Tide will reportedly hit Xbox Series X and S consoles on the 18th of November, and this one's coming in about the $40 points. The insiders have also speculated that this will maybe formally announced at the upcoming THQ Nordic showcase on the 1st of August, so definitely stay tuned for that showcase very soon. As is always the case with leaks like these, you always have to take them with a pinch of salt. I will have to say though that the insider here has a very strong track record, and 99% of the time they're actually pretty accurate about games coming soon, so I kind of do have to say that without certainty these games will be arriving onto our Xbox consoles very soon. In case you missed it over this past week, the delayed game known as Descenders Next has officially launched onto Xbox Game Pass and is seemingly shadow dropped out of nowhere. For those of you who have never heard of this one before, Descenders Next is described as the ultimate extreme sports game in which you can conquer mountains with either a snowboard or a mountain board, and then you'll be completing loads of challenges along the way whilst unlocking some brand new nodes and even new gear. It's kind of similar to the sports you see in Riders Republic, which is also on Xbox Game Pass, so you'll kind of have a good idea of what to expect if you delve into that one before. Have you had a chance to play Descenders Next as of yet, or have you seen some more gameplay on it? You'll have to let me know your thoughts on it in the comments below. In a bit of awesome news, Ubisoft and Massive Entertainment have announced a brand new update for Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, and it contains a much welcome third-person mode for the game on both the Xbox Series X and S consoles. Unfortunately though, it does seem that this update will be coming on later in the year and is now marked for the 5th of December, so it seems like quite some time before we get the New Game Plus and all the other features that I'm about to say to you now. Still, the team managed to give us a brand new look at the third person mode, and I have to say it brings a whole nother aspect to the game that we've never seen before, and I tell you what, it's looking bloody incredible. December looks like it'll be packed with tons of Avatar goodness, and if you're like me, I can't bloody wait. So what has been your favourite bit of Xbox news for this week? You'll have to let me know down below. Remember to smash that like button if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more Xbox news, reviews and updates every single day. Whilst you're here though, why don't you check out my most recent video on screen now, as I covered the top 15 brand new Xbox and Game Pass games arriving this August, and I tell you what, there's some pretty huge hitters coming to our Xbox consoles.